We're going to move on to the next question, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to add. What was different? What was different than what you originally thought was going to be? That's an interesting question. Was that difference harder or easier? Who would like to start us off?
Definitely not easier. Not easier. Like I said, when I got that first check, I thought like I was set. Like I was literally picking out yacht colors. But I was naive. I had no idea. I didn't know how to spell entrepreneurship. I did know what one was though. But it's an insane hustle. And what really separates someone who's going to be a success from someone who's, entrepreneurship's become sexy. I don't know whether it's, the Shark Tanks or what happened, but it's not sexy. It is an insane hustle where you don't sleep. And, I don't remember, a vacation or a 40-hour work week where I wasn't working my ass off.
Every vacation I worked.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't. Let me just mention that. I take a trip, guess what? I'm itching to get, cell phone service so I can keep doing the emails and keep pushing that needle forward. So it's definitely not easier. And what will separate you is just persistence and passion more than anything else. When my first business ceased to exist, my business partner went to law school. He just wasn't hungry for it. And I sat there and I was like, man, yeah, entrepreneurship, not for me. And then about 30 seconds later, I was like, oh, wait, but that's a good idea. And literally that night I was working on another business plan. So just push through. And if you're not passionate, you won't survive. But if you are, just keep chugging along.
Definitely. Thank you. Anyone else like to add to this question? I'll bridge, all right? Much harder than I imagined, not easier. I think one of the things I didn't take into consideration, which I found to be very hard, was in my industry, there's lulls, especially as a personal trainer and nutritionist. People want to hire you at the beginning of the year. Oh, a lot of people want to hire you, and you can have dreams of what's the next car I'm going to buy or the next property I want to buy, and then May and June roll around, and July and August, and you're like, whoa, wait a second, what happened? What happened? Where all the customers go? So lulls in the industry. I would never say any of my years have been just up, and keep climbing and climbing. You hit high peaks and then you hit low, and you have to plan for things like that. You have to have money saved. Definitely save your money. Definitely save your money. Don't spend it. And if you can make it, don't spend it. So that was definitely difficult for me. It was much harder than I expected. Also, something I didn't take into consideration, increased competition. Right in Connecticut, I'd say there's dozens of people that do what I do, but there's 3 or 4 that are any good. And they've been popping up over the past couple of years, and 3 of us are right here in New Haven County. So they take a piece of the market. Fortunately, I've figured out how to beat them with competitive advantage, but increased competition I didn't take into consideration, and will take your bread. They'll take your money just by them being there. They're the new thing. So, anyone else? No?
No.
Sean?
I think everyone sort of touched on this, but there's no such thing as an overnight success, right? So as an entrepreneur, you'll be really wide-eyed, like talking about yacht colors. When I started my courses, I thought I'd have hundreds of students enrolled, and that happened now, but at the beginning, no one's going to care. You're going to have to be really optimistic about your business. A lot of people are going to put you down and say that's not going to work, or if they don't say that directly, they'll imply it. And the ones that succeed are the people that keep trying, and the ones that fail are the ones that give up after 3 months because it's not working. So I would say the one thing that's going to be different than I expected was it's not going to be successful at first, almost guaranteed. And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I lost money my first year. I was in the hole, I was ripped. Do you guys know about like balance sheets and income statements and things of that nature? Well, needless to say, mine weren't pretty. All right, next question. How have you had to motivate yourself to get things done? Let's see. What did I write? Self-reflection, self-talk. I honestly, as I said before, have talked to my dog, Stan pointed out, because of my illiteracy. I also honestly talk to myself, whether it be in the mirror, whether it be while I'm driving. I find a good time to self-reflect is when I'm driving, also in the shower, interestingly. Talk to yourself, pep talk yourself. Listen, the amount of people that do this when you're successful is minimal. The amount of people that will talk and make fun and say this and that and da-da-da-da-da is plentiful. You know, I think we call them haters. Right? You have to motivate yourself. I wouldn't, and I'm not some crazy, like, successful entrepreneur, but, you know, I'm successful to a degree. I would not be where I am today in front of you guys. You guys want to hear what I have to say if I didn't motivate myself. I've made plenty of mistakes, and I just made a very expensive mistake. And you have to be able to pep talk yourself and get yourself up and brush yourself off and keep going. Because if you don't, what's going to happen? Your partner's going to go to law school and leave you on your own. Yeah, he's probably studying everything. Yeah, right. Also, if you ever have the opportunity to look at your bank account when there's no money in it, that's also very motivating to go get money or go make sales or whatever it might be, to have the next idea, push. Talk to yourself, motivate yourself. Yeah.
I like to answer that.
Absolutely.
So part of what I've done to self-motivate myself is, you know, one of those, you have to prep yourself. You have to definitely believe in yourself, because not everyone is going to see a vision, and they're not supposed to. That's because it's your vision. However, you can prep talk yourself, you can surround yourself amongst people who are either, you know, pursuing your roles or in the same boat as you, as long as they're not comfortable being stagnated. Another thing is you can actually seek out a mentor, someone that you can confide in when the numbers are low and you do feel like, you know, as being an entrepreneur, there are going to be dark hours where you feel as though, is this even worth it? What am I doing? Where am I going? And that's where you can seek out a, you know, external mentor, because they may see the value in you that you do not see in yourself at that particular moment. So that's one thing I'll say, is having a mentor to, you know, help push you when you feel like you're like down and out. Because I'm telling you, it's a roller coaster in this industry. It's a true roller coaster. I'll say that.
Ups and downs, definitely. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, just riding the coattails of what everyone else just said. You know, it's not so much like the motivation that I need, because I am super passionate and driven and persistent as hell about it, but it's kind of the days where there's not stuff to get done. So today, for example, I've been up since 5 a.m. and I'm not going to have, my day won't be done until 9. But I'm going to get home and I still have work to do from there. But, you know, yesterday, for example, it was a lull. I was waiting for stuff to get done, and I hate those moments where kind of your hands are tied and there's not much you could do. So at that point, I start working on other ideas. But, you know, there are dark times, no doubt about it. I think what you need to do is celebrate the small victories, because, you know, there are constantly small victories. Major victories are few and far between. You know, you go into a pitch, it goes well, celebrate. If it doesn't go well, learn from it and just move on. So just keep yourself motivated by whatever you need to do to keep pushing that needle forward and making the dream come true.
Definitely celebrate the small victories, absolutely. Yeah.
As a part of self-motivating yourself, you also build a type of backbone for yourself. Because as I said, as you grow, you're going to have a lot of, you know, errors in a road to come before you. And then what doesn't make it better is, like I said, sometimes the people, your audience, the people around you, some people may, you know, as Chris stated, they may hate on you and it may impair you. Because, you know, as individuals, we do validate other people's opinions. As being an entrepreneur, you're going to have to learn how to validate yourself in this process. Try not to rely on validation from others and seeking their approval, Because at the end of the day, it's going to be your name on that business. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one receiving overall sales. At the end of the day, it's your reputation. So no one else. So believe in yourself and never, ever look to someone else for validation. I have a little short story. Edible Arrangements, the CEO and founder of Edible Arrangements. How many of you guys are familiar with that? Okay. Okay, good. So I have worked here for a short period of time. And what I've learned, actually, I work closer with the CEO than you think, because the headquarters is actually in Wallingford. So with that being said, his story, he inherited a flower shop back in '99. It was in Brantford, I believe, and then he actually innovated the idea of turning fruit into bouquets. However, the people that he was currently working with in that flower shop, they did not see his vision, and now he has no competitors. At least to my knowledge, he doesn't have any competitors on the market, so which is a home run for his business. However, he saw him and his brothers. They saw the idea and they executed it, which means they had a lot of nights of self-motivation. So what I'm saying is, never look to someone for validation. Okay?
Yeah, I would like to have a monopoly business too. That would be amazing. Yeah. Guys, we have a couple more questions that we're going to answer, and then we're going to open up the floor to you guys if you have any specific questions to any of us, unless anyone wants to add to this. All right. What do you think are the most important traits of an entrepreneur? We've pretty much covered this, but we'll definitely answer it again. Traits?
Easily, for me, it's perseverance. You're going to get knocked down so many times starting any type of business, but it's all about getting back up and doing your thing, getting back to the grind. You're going to be working 12, 14, 16-hour days, day after day. And you just got to keep doing it because you have a vision. You want to see what you started through, and you want to see if it becomes a success. It's as simple as that.
It absolutely is.
What I would like to say a couple. I would say discipline. A part of being an entrepreneur, you would have to, everything, you see, when we work for other employers, they have a structure already that we abide by. However, you have to discipline yourself to abide by that guideline that you created, because without discipline and creating your own guidelines, your business is basically going to be chaotic. And discipline, actually, that's what's going to incorporate, actually going to traject you on a pathway of success. Another thing is being aggressive. Don't become passive aggressive. You have to be aggressive, because when you're on a path of executing your business and your business plans, you have to be sure about what you're going to do, because it's already a gamble itself. And what I will also say is having a taste for knowledge. You have to always be open to new experiences. I can honestly say I know that all of us have, obviously we have taste for knowledge, because through that you learn. You incorporate what you learn into your businesses, and that also helps you as a person, helps your business as well.
Definitely.